What's the purpose of magic items in your D&D game? It's not a question we often consider because sometimes it feels like magic items are the purpose of a D&D game. But think about it. What's a universal reason for adventurers to brave the dangers of the dungeon? Magic items. How can I make my character even more powerful? Magic items. What's the best bait to use on a plot hook? What's behind that secret door? How do I reward my players for defeating the big bad and get them excited to start the next adventure? Magic items, magic items, magic items. But a good magic item can be so much more than a plus one. It can reveal something about the world you are building together, further develop the characters you are playing, enrich and drive the story forward. Sometimes we get so hung up on the statistics that we lose sight of the significance and miss some big opportunities. Think about all the novels and shows, games, movies that revolve around significant items. The Holy Grail, Excalibur, the Maltese Falcon, the One Ring is a great example. What else? The Ghostbusters proton packs and the Iron Throne, the Infinity Gems. I mean, pretty much every Marvel series has iconic gear to it, and it can be more like mundane things as well. Indy's whip or James Bond's PPK, even freaking Heisenberg's hat. We could list iconic items and narrative MacGuffins all day, and TTRPGs are full of them. It's sort of a meme that nobody reads the Dungeon Master's Guide except for the magic items. And we did a video on hidden gems of the DMG. Actually, I did it twice because there's some good stuff in there if you know where to look, but there's a lot of truth to the idea that plenty of people are only in it for the magic items. Even players with no intention of ever running a game will leaf through those pages like they're shopping in some sort of fantasy catalog. People love magic items. Hell, I'm people. I love magic items. I went on a tear pumping out sets of unique magic items earlier this year with a focus on them feeling different and thematic and supporting strategic decision making. And I had a lot of fun with those. Check out the full free previews on DriveThruRPG. By the way, you can also get them through my Patreon, and the Gold tier that gives you access to like the full year's worth of material has a free trial going on right now. All those links will be down below in the description, of course. And look, if it's not a good time to support the Verdigris table financially, maybe you're saving up for the Kickstarter, wink, 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 well, hitting like and subscribe and sharing these videos is a great way to help out the channel that does not cost a thing. Hey, what Kickstarter, you say? Well, the Game Master's Compendium of Explosive Creation, of course. When this thing is complete, it will be packed full of magic items, meaningful magic items. And to make them meaningful, they've been created around player character archetypes. For each of the 50 archetypes, there is a D10 table of magic items designed to mesh with the themes and the ideas and the abilities of that type of character. Actually, each include a couple more like mundane items as well, so that you can hand something out right away, even at character creation, without fearing that you're going to throw off the game's balance. That's part of the reason why I actually included these on the player-facing pages of these spreads. I thought long and hard about that decision. Each archetype takes up a 2-page command module style layout, and the left-hand page is more geared towards the player, and dropping a handful of dice, one of each type, gives you a ton of material for an interesting, in-depth character, especially once your imagination starts working out the connections between all the results. The right-hand side is more geared towards world building and running the game behind the DM screen. This way, if they want to, a dungeon master can let the players roll or even simply select from the left page while keeping the contents of the right page, secret, save it for later. And magic item distribution is firmly in the DM's control, right? So why do we put it on the player's page? Couple reasons, but the first we already mentioned. People like magic items. The second is that they don't have to start with one of these or even get it in the first few levels. If you're running a game and each of your players has a specific magic item on their wish list That can be super helpful. Sprinkle in rumors of their locations or show the aftermath of their use in the hands of the big bad, and you've got some motivations that will power the campaign over many sessions, especially if this item is significant to the character's backstory, however, developed or bare bones that might be. You might forget you have that, powerful necklace of fireballs or whatever you never ended up reaching for because you always felt that there would, potentially be a better time to use it. But if you open up a chest, deep in the dungeon and find your grandfather's rusty, mundane short sword, it's going to make an impact. And even if you really don't want the players having much influence on the world you're building before the game starts, maybe, you have a very specific idea in mind, or the opposite, you have zero ideas and you just want to keep your options open, you can always limit the players to the left side of the left page and hold back on these magic items, as well as the NPCs and faction tables there. Crop a screen grab of the PDF and just send them the aspects you're comfortable with them having. It's your game after all. Now, this example is actual content I've developed for the GM's Compendium. It's not finalized. I'm sure it needs another pass or two in the editing process, and there's errors in here, but this is what I've been cooking up, gang. This time we're looking at the barkeep, which I almost didn't include, but I am so glad I did because I had a ton of fun with it, and my next character may very well have this archetype for their background. Like most of the entries in here, I've gone for that sweet spot of specificity and flexibility with these magic items so that if there's a barkeep in the party, it's obvious that like the rag of resilience or the tankard of tongues should probably go to them. But if you've selected or randomly generated a magic item from an archetype that isn't represented in the party, it's still going to be desirable for pretty much any characters to get their hands on the crystalline pint or the apron of accessibility. You can also use all of these tables for world building and non-player characters. Imagine whoever's serving drinks at the next tavern the party walks into mention that the legends say the original owner had a powerful magic item that could force anyone who drank from it to tell the truth, but now, supposedly, it's down in the dungeon our heroes were already thinking about visiting. One more thing I want to point out that I am very proud of and applies to all of the 500 magic items that are going to appear in the GM's Compendium of Explosive Creation. You can use these with any system. I've been running 2 different systems lately, and a couple new ones just arrived that I'm going to pull out soon with a little bit of luck. And this time next year, we'll all probably be playing something else, or at least an updated edition of whatever we're playing now. So whether you are running an OSR game or a D&D 5e or Pathfinder or one of the host of games that are about to launch, I'm working very hard to keep everything in the Game Master's Compendium of Explosive Creation system neutral so that you can take it wherever your next adventure takes you. We're about to launch on Kickstarter, and I am pushing for some stretch goals that will make this even more useful, but even if it is just the core coming out, it's going to be awesome and fulfilled on Drive-Thru RPG. Links below to that and all sorts of other cool stuff. Are you checking out these descriptions? There's a lot of stuff down there. Up next, we're going to the other side of these spreads where it gets more focused on the Game Master side, but the players will love seeing this stuff come out in the game because it's going to make the world feel custom crafted for their characters and really keep them in the center of the spotlight. So I hope I see you there. Until then, be kind, have fun.